Hey guys, Nuan here with Movie Slinger Reviews. I know, it's been a while since I put out a video. I've been procrastinating a lot. I was wondering which movie is best to get me off my ass and make another video. Maybe The Irishman. Maybe Jumanji 2. Yeah, I like those movies. The Irishman was a well-directed Martin Scorsese movie, just like every other Martin Scorsese movie. And Jumanji 2 was just as fun as the first one. And I don't really have anything interesting to say about these two films. Nothing to add to what's already been said about them anyway. But then I realized a new Michael Bay movie was out. A $150 million Michael Bay film that didn't have anything to do with giant robots, where the director was completely free to do what he wanted. Which means lots of explosions with sparks in them, hot women, exotic sports cars, and nuns giving middle fingers? What? And you know Michael Bay is really good at showing off the hot women, the sports cars, and the explosions with sparks in them. So I just had to talk about it. So here's my review of Six Underground. The story revolves around a group of 6 people. We don't know their names. They call each other by numbers. The leader is number 1, played by Ryan Reynolds. He's a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist kind of guy who assembles a team of spies and assassins called Ghosts. They go after the terrorists and evil dictators that world governments and the UN don't want to touch. Think of it like this: he's Bruce Wayne and his team is like the Fast and Furious crew. Yeah, I know I could have said Iron Man and the Avengers, but the characters keep making jokes about Bruce Wayne and family.
You don't turn your back on family. But what's real is family. There's always room for family.
Anyway, there's an evil dictator in Turkestan and the Ghosts are trying to get rid of him and install the more democratic leader that people love. It's a hilariously idiotic oversimplification of how a coup is carried out. But the evil dictator guy is so ridiculously evil and the people genuinely seem to love the democratic guy, it's really satisfying to watch this happen. Usually in real life, it's the bad guy who comes to power, so it's entertaining to see the opposite here. I like the story, but the script jumps around way too much between different locations and subplots during the first act. The subplots are usually the personal backstories for the Ghosts, which are not very interesting to watch and really hurt the pacing of the movie. They are very entertaining as a team, but I didn't need to know their individual backstories. I also think the movie could have benefited from showing the story from Seven's perspective, since he's the new guy that needed some explaining about the Ghosts. That's something that we the audience can relate to. I also did not like the Oliver Queen style narration from Ryan Reynolds. It was way too much exposition that was unnecessary for such a simple story. Where I needed narration was for the actual Black Ops style missions. They don't do a good job of explaining the plan, so half the time I have no idea what the characters are trying to achieve. I absolutely loved Ryan Reynolds as number 1. His juvenile sense of humor fits Michael Bay perfectly. Half the movie I was wondering why it took them so long to find each other. Every Batman needs a Robin, so enter number 4, played by Ben Hardy. He's the parkour guy. He's the young guy that number 1 takes under his wing. It's really cute. I don't think Ben Hardy does all the parkour himself, but oh my god, the parkour stunts are awesome. There's plenty of great chase sequences with number 4 where I was just holding on to the seat. Melanie Laurent is a total badass spy. You might remember her from Inglourious Basterds. There's also Adria Arjona as number 5, who's a doctor/hacker. I know it's a bit difficult to imagine, but if you believe Ludacris is a mechanic turned super hacker, then you shouldn't have any trouble believing this. Manuel Garcia is really funny as number 3. There's a part where he breathes in laughing gas and starts using famous quotes from movies. That was really funny. I also really like Payman Madhi as the good democratic leader. There's a really funny bit where Ryan Reynolds uses Eminem lyrics to inspire this guy to stand up against the dictator. His reaction was priceless. Let's talk about the action because that's pretty much why people watch Michael Bay movies. It's really good. Some of the car chases feel like we've seen it before in the Transformers movies, but the difference here is that Bay is no longer restricted by a PG-13 rating. This movie is extremely violent. There's plenty of bad guys getting impaled or getting their head exploded. There's one scene where these massive steel piles drop from a crane and completely wipes out this vehicle convoy. It's glorious. There's also the previously mentioned parkour scenes and one really cool thing they do with magnets. On a boat, it's awesome. And of course, all this Bayham is shot really well. No surprises there. It's a gorgeous looking film. However, I do wish the editing was a little less frantic, especially during the fight scenes. It can get a little shaky and too fast to follow what's happening. Conclusion. Ryan Reynolds and the rest of the cast are incredibly funny as a team, and it's really entertaining to watch them bicker and spew out an endless number of clever one-liners as they kill hundreds of bad guys. Now keep in mind, this is the Michael Bay type humor which I like, but I do understand most people don't. It's a love it or hate it kind of thing. Michael Bay humor worked really well with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and I think it works well with this team. The action is great. If there is a vehicle, Michael Bay will find some ludicrous way to flip it, have sparks fly out and explode into a fiery ball of destruction. And in 6 Underground, he adds lots of satisfyingly gory violence which somehow elevates the action. Seriously guys, the violence in this movie surprised me. This is not for kids. And unlike the Transformers movies where the action just dragged on and on for hours, the director kind of holds back. It's so refreshing to see a Michael Bay film that's only 2 hours long. There's only 2 Michael Bay films that are 2 hours or less: Bad Boys and 6 Underground.
You did. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
How did that happen? Did he finally learn a lesson? Or did he just run out of budget? Yeah, he definitely just ran out of budget. For somebody who wants to see a Bad Boys, Fast and Furious type action movie, this is the movie for you. It's got a messy first act, but once the team starts going on missions, it's a lot of fun. It's way more fun than Hobbs and Shaw, it's definitely funnier and doesn't overstay its welcome. I'm giving 6 Underground a 7 out of 10, and you can stream this on Netflix right now. It might be a good idea to get some friends together with some alcohol. Play the Michael Bay drinking game. Take a shot every time Michael Bay shows off an attractive lady in a tight dress, or every time a car flips or something explodes with sparks. I would like to see a sequel with the same cast. Maybe they could take down a corrupt multinational corporation or a drug cartel or something like that. So, did you watch 6 Underground and what did you think about it? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe. Movie Slinger out.